Timber! I told you guys. I told you 2 episodes ago. I told you once that Jurrien Timber deal was announced, I'm going to be doing the Timber! That has to be a chant. That absolutely needs to be what Arsenal fans do every time his name is read out in the start. Well, that's if he's going to be a starter. Based on what we saw in Nurnberg, which I'm going to get into, mate, he, like, as good as he is, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen at Arsenal this season. Anyways, guys, it's your boy Tosin. Welcome back to another episode of Free Footed. This is going to be an express episode. We're going to be talking 3 things today. We're going to be talking the lessons we learned from Arsenal versus Nurnberg, the friendly, or should I say Nurnberg versus Arsenal, the yearly friendly we have with them. Secondly, I'm going to be giving my reaction on Jurrien Timber, my thoughts on that. And then I'm also going to briefly touch on, obviously, the stuff that came out, which you would have seen about Dele ALLI. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Nurnberg versus Arsenal. Now, before all of these, it's only Nurnberg merchants come out. Before all of these, it's only a friendly, for goodness sake, merchant come out. Before all of these, oh yeah, typical Arsenal fans getting excited over doing dirt against meaty teams in pre-season. Yes. What's the point of looking at the performance of players in pre-season? It's not even to gas. I don't know for other Arsenal fans, but for me, it's not to gas me up about, like, come on, I've been doing this football thing for a long time now. I'm not going to get carried away. Even when we battered Chelsea 4-0 last season, that was impressive, but, like, come on. Like, pre-season friendlies, it's what you look to actually to scope out your players, to see who's sharp, to see what position someone is going to be played in, to see how someone's going to be used, to see what the manager's going to try. So, like, for all of you merchants, like, oh, come on, it's Nuremberg, there's always something to learn in pre-season games, no matter who the opposition is. You learn a lot about how your coach is going to use a player. You learn a lot about what the player is going to be trying to do. You learn about the player's conditioning, how he looks, the touches, all sorts of stuff. So I just wanted to throw that caveat in there. And now I'm going to get into Nuremberg versus Arsenal. So Arsenal drew 1-1 with Nuremberg yesterday, our annual, I think it's annual, because we seem to play them a lot. We beat them 5-3 last season, but we only drew 1-1. Now, I didn't watch the match, but I read a lot of match reports. I watched as much of highlights, so I did as much extensive coverage of the match as I could have. And from what I saw, here are my thoughts, right? Number one, Ethan Nwaneri is a good player. The guy is legit. What is he, 16, 17? This guy plays with confidence and assurance. Like, I can see why. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, because we as a fan base tend to gas up our youngsters. So with Nwaneri, I'm like, I've not really seen anything of him. And I'm like, why? What's the hype behind this guy? Like, why is he so hotly contested for? What's so good about him? But when you watch him, the guy's actually a really good player. Like, from what I've seen of him, he looks... But what I like, he looks confident. Like, the guy is clearly, easily the youngest player there, but he's moving like he plays like he's like a first teamer. Like, it's crazy. So he's a good player. Karl Hein, the Arsenal keeper, he needs to go. This guy is not good. I don't want him anywhere. I'm sorry, man. Like, I just don't want him anywhere near the team. I'm pretty sure he's the keeper that had a howler against Brighton, nowhere near the team. Saka, as usual. You know what he's going to do, like, right? And I'm going to say something, right? I'm not trying to put him on par with him. I'm not even trying to say Saka is at his level. I'm just trying to look at the style and what he does. When I think about Saka and what he does when he's coming in off that right, and you know he's going to come into his left. But the agility, the quick change of pace, you know, like the quick thinking, like, it always outfoxes defenders. Like, the guy he's really I genuinely think that's an art. It's not, you don't just move. Like, it's timing. It's like checkmate, chess with the defender. And I feel like the people I've seen do that you know they're always going to do that, but they just do it so well. Robin van Persie back in the day when he used to play for Arsenal, and Gareth Bale. Players that you just know what they're going to do, but you can't stop them. And I believe we're going to be seeing a lot of those goals from Bukayo this season. I'm expecting spice from Starboy today, or Lil Chili as they call him, right? Also, another thing that from the Nuremberg, which I wasn't so happy about, was Martin Odegaard, obviously he got a knock in. He got a knock in the pre-match warm-up, basically. So apparently Arteta was saying that it was something with his calf. I'm hoping it's a precaution. I'm hoping it's not a long term. I'm hoping to hear that he's still traveling with the squad to America. I really hope that's the case, because if it's not, that's a bit of a concern going into the season. He's obviously one of our key players. You ideally want him fit. But at the same time, any sort of knock or potential injury, maybe whether a month or 2 months, it actually presents a good opportunity for the likes of Havertz, the likes of Emil Smith Rowe, and the likes of a player that I'm going to speak on now, Fabio Vieira. I think for Fabio Vieira, look, I like Fabio Vieira. I mean, like, when he came last season, when we bought him, I saw clips of him training, I saw touches, I'm like, this guy, like, he looks like he's got good feet. But honestly, this season is a make or break season for him. He's had his first season to like sort of implement, bed in, and to be honest, he's not really doing the business for Arsenal right now. Like, for what we paid for, the reputation around him in Portugal, you definitely want to see him imposing himself more on games. And I think with him, I guess why it's make or break for him, because one of the things he's meant to be good at is his quality on the ball. And I think for him, I think he just needs to work on his decision making, because I feel like in crucial moments, yes, I've seen him get some good assists here and there, good passes, but like, he does things where, like, in terms of his positional play, he goes into spaces he doesn't really need to be going to, or he waits that extra bit longer to just play the ball to the fullback. I just want to see him more. So I think this is a big make or break season for him. So for all you know, the Odegaard injury could be a good thing for Fabio Vieira. Like, for you, here's the mantle. Are you going to impose yourself? Also a good thing for Emil Smith Rowe as well. Another thing I learned, following Balogun needs to be humble. This guy needs to be humble, because you missed two sitters. Jesus set you up, and is it young players, Trusty set you up. You were 1-on-1 in, rounded the keeper, and you just hit side netting. Now, I'm gonna, like, typically I give you grace, but coming after the season you had, especially all the talk he's been doing, like, what I don't like is, like, show some respect. Like, I'm not saying, are we saying he shouldn't get more minutes? He absolutely should get more minutes. He's shown, okay, like, if you give me a run in the team, I can do the business. I can cause some trouble, right? But I think he needs to be humble. And I think those two misses would have, I really hope they would have humbled him. And he won't get his head, but by humbled him, I don't mean him down and depressed, but I just mean just get your head down. Show the manager what you can do. Let your performances do the talking, not your words on social media about, oh yeah, I don't feel like, I'm definitely not going out on loan, blah 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 blah. Just bro, relax. Just play, show your worth, and let Arteta see what you're going to do on the pitch. Just don't talk, right? So I think he needs to be humble. That being said, obviously looking at Nketiah didn't look like he had a bad game. I mean, held up the ball well, but I actually think Arsenal should sell him. I think going into this season, Arsenal, if I'm hearing reports about teams wanting Balogun, I genuinely I don't think it makes sense to sell a guy who scored 19 league goals last season for fair enough, league still scored 19 league goals. I don't think it's right to let that guy go be sold and to keep Eddie Nketiah. Eddie's my guy. I really like him. He came in at a difficult moment last season, and he got goals. Did he miss some chances? Yeah, he did. I would have expected him to score a lot more goals given his reputation, fox in the box. But as much as he's my guy, I think if I'm picking between him and Balogun, I know I've not seen Balogun have as many opportunities in the Arsenal team as Nketiah has to prove himself, but I think you got to go with Balogun. I think I saw Nketiah. And of course, Havertz made his debut, introduced with a nice elbow. It was good to see Arteta played him as an 8/10 or whatever. You know, the Xhaka role, right? And yeah, it was an uneventful start for him. But it's to be expected. Bedding in, getting to know his teammates. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Havertz. But what I did like to see as well was fluidity with Jesus on the right. Eddie and Nketiah. At one point, it looked like Jesus went on the right. Eddie Nketiah went on the left, and Trossard went into centre forward when Havertz went on, and Havertz played as one of the 8s because Trossard started as one of the 8s in midfield. So it's good to see fluidity from Arsenal. Fluidity at the front, and we're also going to have fluidity at the back. Why do I say that? Because we've just announced the signing of Jurrien Timber. Now, I've never seen him play extensively, right? But I'm really looking forward to watching him. Based on every review I've seen about, I've heard about him. Every review I've read says the guy is very good defensively. Like he can actually, like he's a strong defender. He likes to tackle, but he can play. Like you see him ranking first for passes completed and all this sort of stuff in Eredivisie. Yes, it's Eredivisie, but still, you always got a lot. Like I like it when I like it when my defenders can defend, but it's an even greater bonus when defenders can actually defend and they can actually play. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing Timber to see, okay, cool. There's hype around him for a reason. Ten Hag wanted to buy him last season, and supposedly Journo said that he decided he wasn't ready to come to the Premier League last season. He said that he wanted to stay at Ajax by this time. He's ready this season. The call comes from Arsenal. He takes it. So I'm looking forward to see that. That shows me this is a level-headed guy. Also, I'm hoping he can emulate someone who went to United and, to be honest, actually had a good debut season. Lisandro Martinez, he came with reputation too, and I believe he lived up to it. So I'm hoping Timber will be able to live up to the reputation and the fluidity. I'm looking forward to the versatility because Ben White he looked good. He looked exactly the same as he was last season, making runs going forward, playing really clever passes, linking up well with Saka. So it's going to be really interesting to see Timber coming in, only 22, really good player as well. So like it can only be good that we're getting such a player to come in. So we're not going to have hopefully we're not going to have any of the issues we had last season. When Saliba gets injured, who's going to come? When if White is playing too many games, who's going to play? We got Timber there, and he can play midfield. And also a quick shout out to Kivio, who looked good, who looked decent in the Zinchenko role. Like this is a centre back, and the thing is, he looked better in there. It looks like he looked better in there than Tierney. Not that people were saying Tierney played bad, but that just Kivio just looked way better there. So I think it's sad, but like Tierney, as much as I love him, it just looks like he's still not really looking to conform to the Arteta way of playing, which is sad, but really looking forward to Timber nonetheless. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to seeing him play for Arsenal. And then lastly, I just want to touch on Dele Alli. I respect you, man. I really respect Dele Alli for what he did. I was really happy to see him vulnerable and honest. And to be honest, I didn't like him at Spurs. He's a Spurs player. I didn't like him at Spurs. I thought this guy was cocky, arrogant. But the truth is, I was a hater because I knew the guy was actually a baller. He was really good. And it annoyed me that he was good and he was playing for Tottenham and that he'd basically what's the word I'm looking for? He would dance on Arsenal when we'd play against them. I just didn't like. I was a hater, and it was a hater just out of jealousy. But I always maintained in my heart of hearts, the guy's always been a good player. And what I love about this is that there's a reason when a player and I think this is what fans need to wake up to. Like, see it with Jadon Sancho as well. These are good players. You don't become a bad player overnight. Like, if there's a quality player and all of a sudden there's a massive fall off, there's a reason for it. It must be something. It's not like, oh yeah, he's whack. Like we just jumped to say. There must be a reason for it. And I'm really glad that he was able to be fully open and honest about his demons, right? And it was sad. Like, it makes sense. There's only so much you can keep stuff bottled in, and it was really sad to see his plight. Like, I was keeping tabs on him, going to Turkey and stuff. Like, it was just bad, So you see that something's gone there mentally, but I'm happy that he's been able to be open and express himself, and hopefully now we can get to see the best of him. But what I really liked about him was that he was open. You'd think that after all the stats of men's mental health, after all of the suicide stats, every 4 suicides in the UK, 3 of them are men. 75% of suicides in the UK are men, right? Men are killing themselves. After all of this, somehow, some way, there is still this stigma on men being open with other men. This is why I love the scripture in the Bible. This is something that really revolutionized my life. There's a scripture in the Bible which says in James chapter 5 verses 16, therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. So the point is, you have got to be open about your struggles. Confess what's going on in your life. That it brings healing. So I'm really, really happy for Dele ALLI. Anyways, guys, I've tried to keep it as short as I can. That's about 15 minutes. It's been great to speak to you. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating the Deccan Rice deal soon. Anyways, much love. Take care. I see ya.